A major arson attack has taken place today in France, and at this very moment, a lot of people are pointing to the Russians, saying that we think that they did it. And in order to understand what's going on, I figured let's break down everything we know. It all starts this morning. At the very early hours around dawn, there were multiple fires that went off at once near the rail lines. Now, as you may know, in Europe, high-speed railway is the way to go. You use buses, sure. People don't drive as much, but yeah, it's the railway that gets you from A to B, especially if you're going from country to country. Well, at the same time, there were multiple fires happening at once in these tubes. These tubes carry communications cables and other kind of electronical cables that communicate with the trains and all that. And when they caught fire, they melted, which caused everything to be shut down, leaving 800,000 people kind of trapped. And this is happening at a time where, as of today, it's the opening of the Olympics, the big ceremony. Everyone goes to it. And so everyone from regular people attending it to athletes are stuck in either different countries or different parts of France as they're trying to get to Paris. And a lot of people have stopped and said there must have been a lot of coordination because they had multiple people. There was even one of them that was actually stopped as they were about to do it. The security guards saw them and scared them away. So it was a big organization that came together to do it. Take a step back to July 21st. French officials announced that they had secured or captured a Russian chief who was planning something that was going to, quote unquote, disrupt the Olympics. Now, they didn't know what that was going to be or what it was going to be or how it was going to be. This person was just told he was going to disrupt something in some way and then report it back to the Russian special intelligence. Is it possible that they did catch the chief, but the other people underneath of them said, we're still going to go? They might have some information, they may not have some information, but we're going to go ahead and just kind of move forward with this. And they did it. And there's a lot more evidence of this being possible because just a few days ago, it was announced in Ukraine that there was a scheme that was stopped involving a group of 19 people. These 19 people had entered Ukraine and other countries with false documentation, and they were going to be sent to several different countries to start fires. They're going to be sent to Ukraine, to Poland, and Baltic countries to start these fires at these very key places. We don't know what those places were. To videotape it, to maybe get pictures, whatever it is, and then send it back to Russian intelligence, which you're saying, wait a minute, this sounds exactly like what was going on in Paris on the 21st. This all has to be connected. And that's why a lot of people are saying, yeah, it's looking very likely. And obviously, there's no hard evidence at this time that Russia did that. And you're probably saying, well, I'm sure they're able to get some more information out of certain people. They probably did. And we probably just don't know it because people don't want a national or international incident to take place during the Olympic Games. It's the only time of year, or whenever you want to say this, that all the world comes together and there's peace. It's not true, but it's a nice thought to think that that actually does happen. And so they probably don't want to scare people, and they probably don't want to kind of really go after anyone until maybe the Olympic Games are over. And I know the one thing you're probably saying is, but we've seen all these pictures and videos of security and how tough it is at the Olympics. They've got security teams from every single country there. How did this happen? Well, whoever planned this out knew that if you go far enough away from the major cities, you're able to get to the rails that are just kind of there. And if you start a fire, things melt, you disrupt it completely. And it's quite annoying because it is something that it's causing a lot of damage, but it's not really like causing any threat to life. But it now takes time to go there, take out these tubes. They have to replace, repair, rebuild it, put it back together, and get everything in top shape. The question is, were they able to do it before the Olympics? And not really. There were still a lot of people that were kind of stuck behind. The French Prime Minister did state that intelligence services were mobilized to find the arsonists, whose attacks he described as premeditated and calculated. And he's 100% right. They had to plan this out far in advance to make sure that this would go down. The CEO of the National Rail Company, SNCF, came out and said that the evidence indicates a desire to seriously harm the French people, adding, "The places were especially chosen to have the most serious impact since each fire cut off 2 lines." Which is why multiple lines were damaged and shut down at the same time. And you can see that on the map provided. The lines to the north, east, and west, where it's red, shows where the attack took place. The one south that is white, that's the one that was stopped. But you hit them all, and then there's no movement whatsoever in Paris. It continues to kind of develop into, well, someone planned this out, multiple people have. There's been other instances where Russia, we've caught people and they've told us that they were going to do arson somewhere. This could be that big attack. It's just we're at a point right now where we can't be pointing fingers. We can't be saying things because if the French come out and they say it was Russia, Russia could do something. And since you got a lot of people together in Paris, we don't want Russia to really do anything bad at this time whatsoever. The only other thing I want to add is that French officials did say they arrested that Russian nationalist. And the Kremlin kind of came out, kind of said something weird. So Dmitry, the spokesperson for the Kremlin, said that Moscow has read the curious information about the arrest, but needed more information from authorities in Paris. So in a way, they're not commenting on it, which they're trying to play it as though they have no idea what's going on. Even though this guy and other Russians who've been captured are kind of telling the same story, which makes you believe that it probably is happening. That's what's happening. But of course, Russia will never say that because why would they? They also don't want to cause an incident, but they also want to cause an incident, if you get my drift. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And before we go, I got a question for you guys. Personal matter out the door. A lot of people send me messages saying we need to put something back here. I do a lot of different YouTube channels and a lot of different videos on TikTok, on Instagram. I mean, I do about like 20 videos a day. And so I do have different setups in my room. Like at one side, it's all dedicated to like a different channel, one for like a couple other things. You don't have to worry about that stuff. So since I do a lot of angles this way, people said we have to put something up here. And so I know this is weird to say in my news video, but what do you guys think we should put on this wall? I feel like we need to have something. I don't know if it needs to be news or some kind of, I don't know, camouflage. I don't know. Something that's not going to make my wife angry if I have it sitting up here and she's going to walk in and be like, this is awful. Why would you put this up on the wall? Just let me know what you think. I know it's just really bizarre to ask, but I figured you guys are watching the videos. You guys are supporting my channel. So let me know what you think in the comment section below and be sure to follow me for more.